Today I'll be taking the webinar. I'll be presenting my screen shortly. Just to briefly describe, Drishti is an organization working towards enabling inclusion at various capacities, and Drishti's, another initiative is Prabhav, which is capacity building programs for adults, which is what we are doing through this webinar and various workshops that we conduct, right? Okay, so I'll be presenting my screen today, and I'll take you through today's topic. In between, there are a couple of slides where I would want to ask you, want your participation. Please feel free to raise your hand and unmute and speak. But I would request that we would keep the Q&A session towards the end. So all the questions probably you can note down or put it in the chat box, and that can be addressed towards the end of the session. All right. Okay. All right. So our today's topic is work-life balance, wearing multiple hats and keeping your head on straight. Okay. It is something which I feel all of us have struggled in the past couple of years, especially with work from home. And now, because everything has started opening up and we are going, physically to work, and it has become a difficult transition for some, whereas easy transition for some. But at the same time, managing work and our personal life has always been a challenge. So we thought it would be a good topic to address to you all today. Okay. The agenda for today's webinar would be understanding what is work-life balance, recognizing the signs of an unbalanced life, and what are certain ways in which we can create balance at work and at home. Okay. Okay. So tell me, what would you do if you could give up one task at work? What would it be? If there was something that you wish you could give up at work, what would it be? Anyone can, unmute and respond. Extra work, all right. Yes, Miss Nisha?
So, this uncertainty which we have in the pandemic, I would really like to get through that.
Right. So uncertainty, no schedule or things like that, you would want to give up. Okay, all right. Anyone else? Okay. Now, what is something that you would give up at home? What would it be? One task that you could give up at home, what would it be? Anyone? Cleaning up. Okay. Right. Anyone else? Okay. Tidying up, that is almost the same. All right. So cleaning the space. Okay. Making sure everything is tidy, something which you would want to give up. Okay. Because I'm sure it must take so much of time to do that. Why do you think we always have some tasks in our mind that, we feel, I wish I could give this up at work, or I wish I didn't have to do this at home? Why do we have that, feeling? Why do we think that way? Because of not having enough time. Okay. Right. What else? Yes, Miss Anita?
Everybody everybody messes the house and you end up cleaning the whole thing. You don't enjoy doing it.
Right. Correct. Right. Why do we have this feeling that, oh God, I'll have to do that. Everyone has messed up the house and, I have to take care of it now. Why does that feeling come up? Like, I'm sure you would also want your house to be clean. So ideally, you wouldn't have minded cleaning it or keeping it tidy. But why does this feeling come up that, you know, now I'll have to do it? And that's so sad.
I think if everybody cooperates in maintaining the house, it'll be I mean, the job will be made easier.
Right, right. I'm sure. Right. We also feel this sometimes, maybe because we are so tired with all the work that we have done throughout the day. So coming back home and seeing that everyone has the house gives us a little more, irritation that, oh God, now I have to do this, right? We might be in a little bit of fatigue, right? We might be feeling that how do I manage this time, right? Anything that's struggling in terms of you communicating with your family members or someone at work can take a toll on us, right? And hence we have this feeling that, oh God, I wish there was something which I could give up, okay, that I wish I had some time, right? These thoughts come into our mind. Okay. Right. So as I said, reasons can be that physically and mentally you are feeling drained, inability to manage time, relationships at home or work are struggling. Okay, there is lack of clarity in the communication, or misunderstandings, or inability to express. Any of these things can create any struggles within relationships. Okay, striving for perfection, unclear priorities, and no me time. All of these reasons can take a toll on us and make us feel extremely drained, tired, exhausted, and give us these thoughts that I wish there was something which I could drop, or I wish there was something I didn't have to do. Right? Okay. Right. What is work-life balance? Work-life balance is establishing a stable and sustainable way to work while managing health and general well-being. Right? So you are able to be stable at your work in your performance. At the same time, you are managing your health and your overall well-being, which includes your physical health, your mental health, emotional well-being, social life, everything. Right? Okay. Work-life balance is not a problem to be solved. It's an ongoing issue that needs to be managed. It is not some one-time solution that we took a medicine and it's over, right? It's something that we need to continuously keep on doing to manage a work life balance, to keep that balance sustainable, right? Okay. I want you to recall any time where you were working in an environment, um, you know, where you where you didn't find it, where you found it difficult actually to manage your work life balance, right? Um, can you just share any experience that you recall? Can you recall that what was that situation which made you feel that your employee moral went down, right? Anyone? Where probably you didn't enjoy your work, or you felt something was missing, you didn't, uh, you know, you weren't happy doing it. Anyone? Anytime that you felt that, okay, we have a response in the chat box. Had a burnout couple of months earlier because of increased tasks and not being able to take care of yourself at home. Right, right, correct. And did that, also affect how you were working? Did that affect that how, how your morale was for work? Okay, you procrastinated more than often. All right. Okay. productivity. Anyone else would want to share? You cancel meetings, right? You had more of a burnout because of family health problems and work, right? So there was a lot to juggle at home as well as at work, which led to burnout. Yes, Miss Nisha.
So it's usually like, after working non-stop, there comes a day when you're totally fused out and you procrastinate. So there's a lot on your head, but you don't feel like doing it. So I'll say like that capacity may be a burnout thing only, which doesn't allow you to work. So that can be procrastination.
Right, right. What whoever mentioned right now that they had a burnout experience before some time. What were certain traits of work or of your personal life that led to that burnout? What were certain characteristics in your routine or something? Yes, Miss Nisha.
So it was non-stop work, and in terms of newer things, so you end up one thing and the next thing is on your head. And I was
Right.
shifting places, like I was switching from one job to the other. So I had handover
Mm-hmm.
responsibilities of the previous job and the newer
Right.
responsibilities of the current job. So balancing both of
Right.
them, like on weekends, I'm still working for the previous thing. So that kind of led to burnout.
Right. Okay. All right. So constant task back to back, no time to breathe out. Right. No personal time, I would say. All right. Miss Yevet is saying too much on your plate and also emotional stress. All right. Yes, Miss Sunita.
Trying to do everything perfectly.
Right. Right. Our expectations of meeting our standards or the
Mhm.
company standards or standards of our family members. Right. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Mm-hmm. Anything else, Miss Sunita, you want to add to the characteristics?
And no, sometimes while we try balancing both, if things are on the normal course at work as well as at home, it's fine. If you have an elderly person at home fall sick and there's a change in routine, that could also take a toll.
Right, right. Of course, the demands that the environment has, people in your immediate environment has, of course, can take it all. Right. Ms. Yvette is saying also taking up responsibility of what's not in our control. True, always wanting to control things, which sometimes we forget that there are certain things which we might have to just let it be. Okay, that also can take a toll, of course. All right.
Yes,
So do you
yes.
see these are these traits that we have around us, surrounding us, um, even in our professional life and personal life, which are constant tasks, long hours of work, or trying to control a lot of things. Okay, um, having these unrealistic expectations from ourselves or trying to meet that and match that standard, sometimes forgetting that it's all right. If we don't, we are trying really our best at that moment, can lead to the burnout which you all are mentioning, right? Now, here are certain signs which can tell us that our work life is not balanced. Okay? First is no clear boundaries for work and home. When we are working longer and longer hours, and we can't differentiate, or we can't put a boundary where we are not receiving texts or emails or calls about from work. Once we working hours are over, we are carrying work at home, we're continuing doing that, we feel like we have to be available around the clock. That's when it is a very huge signal that work life is not balanced, right? Feeling like you have too much to do all the time. So feeling that we have to juggle so many things. It's expectations from work, it's trying to meet deadlines, it's trying to pursue my own hobbies, trying to meet my family's expectations, taking care of them, right? All of these things juggling at the same time feels that there's so much to do all the time. There is never a time when we feel that, okay, I only have one task, I'm done, and I can relax for some time, right? Feeling tired and or sleeping less than 7 hours per night. We all know that when we don't sleep enough, our brain only has a certain capacity to cope up for some time. And if we don't give that proper rest, if we don't give that proper sleep time where our brain can rejuvenate, it is going to lead to a lot of exhaustion, right? which can lead to feeling irritable, or we are always tired. We lash out on our family members or children or colleagues, right? Once in a while, it's all right. We always have certain, it's not always possible that we manage our anger, but we are always irritated. Small things start triggering us. That's when, again, we have to take a sign that, okay, something has become too much now and I need to take a step back, probably, right? You can't remember the last time you had fun. It always feels that you are just working, you're coming home, you're again working at home, and you are doing the same routine, right? Struggling to focus. Now that's something which is, very important to notice, right? We may be spending so much time working that we are actually, hindering our productivity. We're not seeing that, there's only so much that we can do. We try to take up tasks, we try to meet expectations, we try to, keep on going, but there's a limit that everyone has, and it's necessary to recognize that, because then it leads to struggling to focus on the tasks. And you will see the, graph going down also, about your performance at work. Stop taking care of yourself mentally and physically. Okay, going into that I don't care zone, not paying attention to what's happening to your body, not paying attention to how you are feeling, how emotionally you are reacting to situations, right? You feel incompetent. Okay, it feels that no matter what we do, it's never enough. There is always something that, we need to do more. We always doubt that, okay, can I do more, something more? Can I add something? Can I put more hours? Can I put more efforts? Right? We fear that, and also sometimes, uh, have this doubt and something that scares us, that, we are going to be fired if we don't meet this expectation, and hence we push ourselves so much, right, that we continuously doubt ourselves also, and it becomes a very vicious cycle, right? Perfectionism, we want to attain that standard, right? I think someone mentioned also that, doing everything perfectly, right? um, Absenteeism, or always thinking of work and working overtime, right? These are the signs which we should look out for, and tell ourselves that, okay, um, work life is not balanced and something needs to be done about it, right? There are three O's to work life balance: ourselves, others, and obligations. Ourselves can include our physical health, mental health, our spiritual choices, our spiritual health, okay, our social life, etc. Others would include, the relationships that we share with our family, friends, pets, hobbies that we want to pursue, okay, the kind of fun we want to have, traveling, etc. Okay, and obligations would be our work, okay, something that we are pursuing, career that we are pursuing, maintaining or, managing our home, okay, contributing in whatever way to the community, and being financially responsible for our family. Right? These are certain obligations that we have. Right? Okay. These are necessary to be categorized also, so we understand that where is it that we need to put more time, which is what we are going to do in the next, slide. So what I want you to do is, quickly, if you have a paper around you, okay, draw a pie chart, right, showing what division of time or what percentage of time are you spending for yourself, okay, are you spending for your job and for your relationships during the waking hours of the week, right? So quickly, if someone can, even if, you're not drawing, but if mentally you can just prepare this pie chart and tell me what percentage are you contributing to yourself, what percentage of time are you contributing to your job and to your relationships. How is it, how does the distribution look currently? Anyone who has a mental picture of it? How does the distribution look currently? 50% to work, rest to self and others. Okay. Quarter would be to relationships, rest work. So 25% and rest 75% would be work. All right. What about yourself, Miss Marian? No percentage of time assigned to yourself. Okay, less than half. Okay. 80% job, self and relationships 20%. Okay, right? Oh, whoever has responded and whoever has thought about it. Okay. Are you happy with the current distribution that you have reflected upon? No. Right. What would be your ideal distribution? If I had to ask you to draw an ideal pie chart of distributing time between yourself, your work, and your relationships, what would that distribution be? Fifty-fifty. All right. What about time for yourself? Or if that 50 is for yourself, then what about time for your relationships? Others, Miss Marian, who also had responded, Miss Richa, 30 for self. Okay. All right. Okay. I would want that you all note down that ideal distribution that's there in your mind. Okay. Right. And we are going to see how we can try and achieve that ideal distribution. Okay. Many people confuse that the urgent with the important work. Okay. Urgent tasks need to be done quickly, but that does not make them important always. Okay. We are often stuck completing urgent tasks at the expense of the important ones. Right? We always feel if this is urgent, it's extremely important, let's get done. But it might not be so. All right. Important tasks are the ones that help us meet goals. So it's important that we learn the difference between what is urgent, what is important, what can take some time to be completed, right? So this is a quadrant that can help us divide our tasks. Okay? It is designed by Stephen Covey. All right. It's a 4 quadrant system to help us categorize each task, responsibility, basically how we can prioritize our task and be more productive. Okay. Each quadrant has a different property, and it is it is designed in a way that can help us prioritize our responsibilities. Okay, so let's look at each quadrant and how we can, or what all tasks can be going in this in each of these quadrants. Okay, the first one is important and urgent. So quadrant 1 would be filled with tasks which are um, critical, which require immediate results, okay, immediate attention, right? It could be any crisis that is there, it could be any extreme pressing problems that are there ongoing, or it could be any meeting deadlines, okay, which you know that require your urgent attention and cannot be delayed a bit, or it cannot the deadline cannot be moved or anything like that. Okay, so these are the responsibilities or tasks, as I said, requires critical results and require urgent attention. Maybe these tasks may be very stress giving tasks for that moment, and hence requires that urgent attention, right? It could be, as I said, important deadlines, something that are sensitive goals that you need to be that you need to meet. Okay, and immediate risk that you might have to take, and if you don't do that task, the risk can keep on growing. So it is it involves certain tasks which requires that immediate attention. That's why it's both important and urgent. Okay, moving to quadrant 2, it's important but not urgent. It can have the tasks which could involve relationship building, finding new opportunities, long-term planning, preventive activities, personal growth, or recreation. Okay, these are important because these are also certain tasks, if you see, which can help us feel better, which are the tasks that we need to spend time for ourselves, right? But at the same time, they are not urgent and can take a second seat in your priority list, right? It may have these items like your home maintenance, or your taking your car for service, or journaling, reading, okay, spending time with your family members, okay, rewarding, doing a rewarding hobby, making sure that you have throughout the day you are doing one or two of these tasks which are falling under the second quadrant, right? Third quadrant is not important but urgent. Okay, these could have interruptions, emails, calls, meetings, popular activities, proximate pressing matters. Okay, these are urgent and they assume some importance for that moment. So we feel for that moment they are extremely important because they feel urgent. Okay, this is where the distinction needs to be made between urgent and important, right? Uh, it might be certain tasks which require our attention at that moment. That's why it falls under urgent. But it also could be okay if we can delay a bit, if we can not pay attention to it at that moment because they are not important. Okay. For examples, any of your emails or calls or anything which are coming after post work hours, which are not extremely important. We always have the system that okay, you message SOS, or you let me know if it's really urgent, like drop a text and then probably I will attend to it. But without that, those calls or messages or emails can feel urgent but are not important, especially post work hours, right? Most of the tasks involve interruptions from other people and often involve helping them to meet their goals. It's usually like, okay, we are getting a call from a colleague saying that, can you help me out drafting this email, or can you help me out with XYZ presentation? It's always, these small interruptions that can, where we are helping others out, okay, at the compromise of our own priorities, right? Quadrant 4, not urgent and not important. Okay, it could be trivia, busy work, time wasters, some calls and emails, or pleasant activities. Okay, tasks in quadrant 4 are more likely to be able to be removed completely or reduced. It is important to identify which items belong in this quadrant, so you know that which task I want to put as my lowest priority. Okay, something like spending our time on social media. Okay, yes, if you're doing it for a shorter duration of time as a refresher or anything, all right, it could be there in quadrant 2. But if we know that we are just scrolling through mindlessly, we are not actually gaining anything out of it, okay, and it could be reduced to our lowest priority task, can then go to quadrant 4, right? So arranging our day-to-day tasks in these quadrants can really help us categorize our time, assign priorities, okay, and then decide, okay, how much time do I want to give to this particular quadrant tasks, to this, to quadrant 2 tasks, to quadrant 3 tasks, and to quadrant 4 tasks. It really helps us manage our time, as well as we are then catering to all of our tasks, not missing out on something that can give us anxiety or that can give us stress at a later point in time. Right? Another way in which we can also, prioritize and make sure that we are having a good work-life balance would be mention our goals. This could be short-term goals, long-term goals. Okay, it's always good to start with small steps and then look at the bigger picture, right? So arrange these goals in priority order and give them ratings, right? With A being the most important and lower down, B being the mediocre, C being least important, or D being the least important, depending on how many categories do you want to put, right? But having this organized for you and then categorizing into 4 quadrants, as we talked about, can help gain some insight into how can we maintain that work-life balance. What are certain tasks we can avoid? How can we put some boundaries, right? Okay, which is what my next uh, activity or next strategy is. Okay, all right. So we understand that at in everyday routine it might be difficult that we cater to our self-care, or if we take out some 5 days only to take care of ourselves, it's not possible, it's not realistic expectation, right? But we can make this boundaries and intentions to take care of ourselves, to make sure that we there are certain areas in which we are putting boundaries. Okay, Consider boundary makers, as drawing line in the sand, okay, stating that beyond this, it will not be welcome, okay, as a way of protecting or caring for yourself. Okay. Yes, you can maintain certain ground rules. You can have an emergency plan. Okay. You can have the list of tasks that you want to put under boundaries, and you can have list of tasks that for which you are ready to cross a little boundary because it might require it may fall under the quadrant one, of the organization, of the task organization, right? But the boundaries that you put here, you are making sure that you are not crossing them, or you are not letting others cross them. Okay. So say, for example, for a certain day you decided that today it's a weekend, and I'm not going to attend to the work calls, or I'm not going to look at my work um, email ID. Okay. That's a boundary that you would put. Okay. um, Say you also take a you make a boundary that today I want to take care of myself. I want to spend some time probably reading something, catching up on anything that I have missed out during the week, or I want to catch up with a friend that I have not spoken to for a long time. Okay. But apart from that, I am not going to use my cell phone, or I'm not going to go on social media. Okay. So you are creating a boundary that you are not going to use your phone or social media, but you are also creating an exception over there that, okay, because I want to catch up with a friend, that's something which is contributing to my self-care, that's contributing to the balance that I want to attain over this weekend. I am going to use my phone for that reason. Right. So it's a boundary, which is what you are putting. Okay. Right. So probably, since it's a small group also, if one or two of you can also tell me that, what are certain boundaries that you would like to put if you are making this chart, what would be, couple of boundaries that you would be putting here? Right? Okay, if you feel like sharing, just please put it in the chat box. Okay. Moving on to intentions. Okay. Intention, as described by Wayne Dyer in The Power of Intention, is a strong purpose or aim accompanied by a determination to produce a desired result. Okay. It is very similar to goals, yet it is more focused on embodying a way of being and experiencing the world rather than achieving and accomplishing tasks. Okay. They are connected to a greater sense of purpose and meaning in life. So your intentions needs to be specific to you and the person you hope to become. So what is that goal that you want to achieve, and what's your intention of achieving that goal? Okay. Example would be, I'll be content not being an expert at my self-care practices. I will listen to my body and give it what it needs. I will celebrate myself for just being me. I will put my needs before others today. Okay. So this is a chart that you can prepare, or even mentally, if you just list down that these are certain boundaries that today I want to put because I need to take a step back because it has been too much for over the past few days or couple of months. Okay. And intention of doing that is that I'm going to give myself a break. I am going to start afresh from, say, 2 days from now or 3 days from now. Okay. I am going to accept that there might be certain mistakes that I might have made, and I'm going to learn from that, or anything like that, which is going to help you achieve that goal and not continue that burnout phase, or not continue that overwhelming phase, that because of which you might have to create these boundaries and intentions. Right? Okay. Right. My work-life balance plan. This you can make always. Okay. It could be key areas, could be family and career. Okay. What is the current situation that you are facing? So you can take from the pie chart that you made. Okay. How much time are you spending with your relationships around you? It could be that you are arriving late in the evening and you don't have time for family. Okay. What is your target, and what would be the key steps to achieve that target? Okay. For example, key steps is that spending 1 hour with kids, spending weekends afternoon with the family. Okay, target is that I would want a quality time with family. Okay, make it as quantitative as also possible so that you are able to measure for yourself that yes, I spent 1 more hour this week, okay, or I spent proper 1 hour every night with my kids, okay, and one family experience per month. It could be a short dinner somewhere or a short road trip somewhere or just you know, anything that you all do together. Okay, in career, looking for new career opportunities currently. Okay, key steps: enrolling in different courses, mentor who could provide coaching. Target is that I want a new career opportunity, I want an increase in salary, and a new promotion. Okay, so make this work-life balance plan where you are having certain target behaviors or target experiences for yourself, for which you can decide key steps and you can see how from the current level you reach to your target. Okay? All right. Now, this is something which is known as wheel of life. Okay, it is also known as life balance wheel, the coaching wheel, or the life wheel. Now, this is used to assess and understand how areas in our life are currently balanced, and how we can achieve the target balance that we want. Right. So let's go through each of these. Categories. One is family. How much time are we giving to family? How our relationship is with the family? Spirituality. How is it that we are doing in our spiritual life? If, of course, you are spiritual, all right, or you are religious, anything. How is it that we are balancing our finances? Okay. Are we satisfied with that? Are we happy about it? What needs to be done in that area? Career. How are we moving in our career path? Are we in the path that we always wanted to be? Are we achieving our goals? Right. Health consists of both mental and physical health. How am I doing emotionally, socially, psychologically, as well as how am I doing physically? Am I getting sick a lot? Um, or I'm working out and balancing that, all right? Relationships, how other relationships, your social life, they go hand in hand. So how are those? Are we having a lot of conflicts in our relationship, or they are going smoothly? Is communication smooth? Okay, I'm able to express myself, I'm able to be myself. How is my social life? Do I have friends to go to? Do I have events to go to? Do I feel included in my immediate society? Right. And how am I growing personally? Right. Personal growth is subjective, can mean different for different people. But yeah, as long as you feel that yes, I learned something from a particular experience in my life and I grew from that, that's personal growth. Right. So you can use this. Okay, you can in fact click a picture or take a screenshot of this, and you can use this in a way that, okay, where am I standing from 0 to 10 in each of these categories? Okay, 0 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, right? Once you assess that, right, what would be your ideal, like how we made that ideal distribution of time? This would be ideal level in which you are currently, standing in each of these categories, and where you want to reach. Okay, with a different color, you can make that marking again from the scale of 0 to 10. So once you get 2 rounds, and if there is a gap anywhere, that's the area where an action needs to be taken, right? So suppose career is not satisfying or career is not going on the right path or anything, and you do wish that that gap is there. So that's where you need to put in more efforts, probably, right? Versus family is doing fine. You are spending some time with your family members. You are having fruitful relationships. So that's somewhere which needs to be maintained, not lower. Okay, maintain, but at the same time, probably you can uh, target your efforts towards building that, bridging that gap in the category which it requires. Okay. This is another way in which we, identify that who or which are those relationships that can help me, support me in bridging the gap in the categories that we found. Okay. The center circle is you. Okay. The immediate circle will be people who are in your immediate surrounding, who are extremely close to you. That would include your family members. Okay. The second circle probably would be your friends, okay, your distant relatives whom you might be close to, okay, whom you feel um, you can relate to, seek support from. All right. It could also include your colleagues whom you are, closer to, okay, or your immediate senior if you are comfortable to talk about any problems or any difficulties, right, and so on. So you can mention these names in the ripples of support, right, that you have, so that it is very evident in front of you that, you know what, if any difficulty happens, if I need help for, or if I need support for something, I can reach out to this person, whether it's my sphere one, two, three. Okay. And you can ask yourself these questions: that are these relationships, important to me, the most important in this, inner circle? And likewise, okay, so how important they are for me? How do I feel supported with that person or that peer, right? What kind of support would you like from them? Okay, how can you provide support to them? Because of course, relationships are two-way streets. So how is it that you would also like to support them? Okay, and how do you feel looking at your support network on the paper? Are you feeling satisfied about it? Do you feel that, okay, probably I do need to increase my support system, right? Or I have the support system, probably I haven't reached out to them. And now that I see it, I feel that, okay, I can reach out to a certain person if I'm going through any difficulty. Since we are all social beings, it becomes very important that we are supporting each other. And through that support, through the time management, or through the uh, prioritizing our tasks, okay, even seeking support for prioritizing our tasks, okay, can help in attaining this work life balance. So invest in your work life balance. Time with friends and family is as important as times at work. Getting that out of balance is path towards unhappiness, right? So I hope that a couple of strategies that we shared can help you attain the work life balance. Okay? At this point in time, if at all any questions are there, please feel free to ask. Put it in the chat box or just unmute and ask. Any questions, any sharings, any thoughts that you would like to share before we end? You want me to go back to the categories life cycle? Are you talking about this? Okay, sure. All right. So Wheel of Life is basically where we see these are the categories that we usually, uh, that comprises our life system, right? We have family, we have certain relationships, we have a social life, we have our health, right? We focus on our career, we have finances to earn, right? And we always want to grow and motivate ourselves to achieve our goals, right? So this Wheel of Life basically helps us to understand where do we stand correctly in each of these areas. Okay, it breaks down into these categories so as to make it easier for us to understand where I need to put my efforts, where I need to prioritize, which area I want to increase my satisfaction or my happiness in. Okay, so say I feel that I'm putting in a lot of efforts but I'm not earning enough. Okay, so my finances are, that level is down, and um, I want to earn XYZ. So say my right now the level is at 4 and I want to move on to 6 or 7. Okay, so that gap, I know now that, okay, I probably have to find another better job, or I want to do some side hustle, okay, or anything like that to improve my finances. I hope that clarifies. And likewise for each category. Great, great. No problem. The feedback link in the chat box, I would request if all of you all can, take some time out and fill the feedback. It would be really helpful for us. And yes, still, if any questions or anything, please feel free to ask. All right. please fill the feedback form. It would be really helpful for us. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a nice day ahead.